What does a backup point guard need to provide the Nuggets this season? What does he need to do? What's the ideal point guard bring to the table here, Vogt?
But it seems to me what they need more than anything is a guy who can keep them organized and can at least keep the half-court possessions afloat. So it's a higher floor, lower ceiling guy for me.
Oh baby, it's time to get small.
Wait, is that what?
Wait,
Hang on.
Wait a second.
How would you do that?
Look, well, I'm just saying, I brought in some people to help me. What's up,
son of a
everybody? We
gun.
are talking backup point guards today for the Denver Nuggets. That means 3 players: Reggie Jackson, Jalen Pickett, Collin Gillespie.
Yes.
Those 3 guys kind of vying for that. Let's break it all down. Let's get to our big question. What does a backup point guard need to provide the Nuggets this season? What does he need to do? What's the ideal point guard bring to the table here, Vogt?
Well, I don't want to make anyone sick, but maybe a Monte Morris type.
Whoa.
I just don't. I think if Julian Strawther is going to find a way to creep into the rotation, and if Jamal Murray is going to be with the bench at all, either or of those things, I don't know if it's really big-time shot making that this person needs to bring. There was a little bit of confusion between Jamal and Bones Highland when that was the layout last year. So obviously the bench needs some firepower, but it seems to me what they need more than anything is a guy who can keep them organized and can at least keep the half-court possessions afloat. So it's a higher floor, lower ceiling guy for me.
Vogt's kind of tipping his hand, I feel, in this segment already with that answer. What about you? Just what do you think the point guard spot needs to bring?
Well, the backup point guard, it reminds me of Toy Story 2.
Wow. All right.
It was not that good, but it could have been worse. It could have been worse. And that's what I think that we're getting with this group. There's one guy that kind of separates himself from the pack here, and that's Pickett, because when you look at the point guards that Denver has, like they have 2 big hitter options in Jamal and Reggie, and then you have 2 safe options in Collin Gillespie. You know what you're getting in him. Jalen Pickett, I think that he has the highest potential to be the backup point guard because he's a heavy hitter, but he's also very safe. And you talk about what is it that you have to do. And I think that that's what separates him from the pack. You have to be able to have a blend. You have to be able to shoot the basketball, to be able to space it. But also you have to be a pass-first point guard. You have to be somebody that can set the table, that can work alongside other guys that are trying to get it going as well. You don't have to score a bunch of points. And I think that that's what you have to hammer into Reggie's head. So I think that that's what has me a little bit down on him and higher on Jalen Pickett.
For me, I think this position needs to be a bit of a jack of all trades. And the reason I say that is Jamal Murray typically, and I think again this year, will stagger with the bench unit. He'll be the point guard for a lot of those bench minutes. So you need a guy that's a little bit with the bench, a little bit with the starters, and those are 2 different roles. I think number 1, you have to be able to defend, especially point of attack. Low mistake type of guy that unit needs, the second unit needs to have a defensive mind frame. And then number 2, I do think you need to be able to shoot a little bit. You need to be able to run pick and roll a little bit. You need to be able to distribute a little bit. You need to be able to do all of those things. And I think that there's reasons to question whether any of the guys on the roster are able to do that. But I'm with my guy Dev over here. Everybody knows I'm a big Pickett guy.
Sure.
2 preseason games so far. Thought he looked good in one, not good in the other. So I'm curious to see if he can kind of gain the confidence and the speed and all of those things that are needed. But to me, when I look at a Collin and I look at a Reggie, those guys are a little bit more specialized. They're a little bit more like have a very specific way of playing. And I worry that second unit isn't going to have the floor general and the all-around type player that they're going to need. But this brings us to Judge Vogt. We need to go to court here.
Dun dun.
Oh my God, Your Honor, do you want to take it away here?
You may be seated. Gentlemen, I brought you here today to litigate a very important topic here as the Denver Nuggets enter their defense of their first ever title.
Yeah.
And the question is this. The Denver Nuggets already have their backup point guard on the roster. True or false? Dev, the floor is yours. And you are arguing which side this afternoon?
I'm going to go with false.
Okay.
And the reason why, Your Honor, is right now they're going to tinker with some lineups right now. They have a two-way guy in Collin Gillespie, which I think is an NBA point guard. I think that it's going to take a while for him to get there. And then also they have Jalen Pickett, who I think is going to be there when it's all said and done. But as of right now, at this moment, they don't have him. They don't see the vision that other people are seeing. I think that he's going to be the backup point guard, and that's when I think that they will be there, is when they give him the keys to be the backup point guard. But at this moment right now, I just can't give it to Reggie. Sorry.
Mr. Mata, as I understand, you're here to defend the roster as it stands.
I am, Your Honor. And, Dev brought a lot of really good points to the table. Mm-hmm. But the question wasn't, is he on the roster and ready to go right now? It's just, is he on the roster?
I object.
Under what grounds?
I didn't hear the question.
Almost sustained due to comedy, but denied.
Because I do think that right out of the gate, game number 1, I'm not sure there's going to be a guy that is ready to take that on. I think Reggie Jackson's going to give it his all. I really do. I think he's going to get some good minutes. Is he the guy long term? I don't think so. But I do think the guy's on the roster. His name is Jalen Pickett. Does a lot of things.
Shocking.
Booty ball in particular. Sets the table well.
Watch your language in the court, please.
I apologize. But he does need some seasoning. I think he needs a lot of time, a lot of patience. And I think he's a guy that by later on in the year, the second half of the regular season, he's going to be the guy. Will he be the guy in the playoffs? I think no. I think he probably needs another year before you trust him at that level. But to get through the regular season, the guy is a Nuggets-type player. Low mistake. He has 0 turnovers through 2 games, by the way. I don't know if anybody caught this. 0 turnovers.
I didn't catch it.
So far in the preseason. The guy sets the table, doesn't mess up on defense, and he gets into the paint and generates 3-point shots. Well, Denver brought in a lot of 3-point shooters. I think he'll be that guy. It's going to take some patience, though.
I'm going to take some time to consider the arguments here.
As you must.
And my ruling is in. We're going to go with Adam.
Yes!
However, there's a caveat. You're correct semantically. I do think he's on the roster. I don't know if it'll manifest this season. That's my official ruling. Thank you for attending court today, gentlemen.
That was a great. Thank you, Your Honor. Sucker. All right, let's get into some bold predictions here.
Oh, I just look like this now?
No, you can go ahead and change. You do look like George Washington, though.
Bold prediction time.
All right, let's get some bold predictions going. Superstar Dev, start us off.
My bold prediction with this backup unit this year is whoever it is that is the backup point guard in the playoffs, he's going to be better statistically than Bruce Brown.
Whoa. Wait, what?
Hang on.
Tell me what statistically means real quick. Just like more points, more rebounds.
I think it'll be more points.
Wow.
It'll be more rebounds.
Wow.
It'll be more assists for sure. For sure. I think that it'll just be a seamless fit. Whoever it is. I have 3 guys to choose from. I really have 2 guys to choose from on this option. And whoever it is, they might have better statistics.
5 peppers.
5 pepper takes.
5 pepper takes.
But what do you got?
I think that Reggie Jackson will actually lose this spot in the rotation to one of the 2 point guards behind him. And I think it'll be Reggie's chance first and foremost. And I think it'll be a somewhat long runway. But I think before the season is up, Malone will tinker and tailor and settle on one of the 2 younger players.
So the judge really does agree that he's on the roster. Vogt agrees.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the judge thinks. I don't want to speak for him.
My bold prediction's a little bit of a sour one. I predict that Jalen Pickett will become the most polarizing player of the Jokic era. The most polarizing. Because here's the thing about him. He's a really, really unique player. He's a strange player. He has a strange game. I think some of the stuff he does really well, you can notice them. Sometimes they're a little subtle, but you can notice them. The things he does poorly really stand out. There have been players that the fan base has hated, players that they loved and have overhyped. I think this is going to be one that splits everybody down the middle, and you're going to have an army of pro and anti-Jalen Pickett people like we have not seen in this era.
That's scarier than the Will Barton, truthers.
That's true.
That was exactly what that was. And in which side you choose? Do you choose the Adam Morris side of things?
Yeah.
Or are you a regular man that is just not so blind?
You think about Bones Highland and Facu. Maybe this is just an essential aspect of the backup point guard in Denver. You have to be polarizing.
And so I think what that really points to is that we ask a lot of the backup point guard.
Sure, and the benches haven't been great.
Like Jokic's not on the court, so inherently you're like, hey, be as good as Jokic.
Right.
And that's like sort of the task and anything short of it. But no, Jalen Pickett I think is a unique guy. Going to need a lot of runway and going to give us a lot of conversation throughout the season. That does it for backup point guards. Maybe the shakiest part of the entire Nuggets roster. Who knows? Do us a favor, hit the like button. We'll see you on the other side.
We all silly like the mayor.